Hey Swirly Savages, today I'm going to show you how I altered my lantern. That was the add-on to the July Kit of the Month with Swirly Doos. So this is the metal heart that was included, and I decided to pop it apart. The easiest way I found to do that was just use some pliers and bend back and forth where it was soldered, and then it would pop apart easily. And then I'm just removing the hanger that was at the top and reshaping. Now I'm going to use some of the Steampunk Copper Prima paint and just painting both sides of the chipboard gears that were also included in the kit. Using some clear gesso on the metal heart, that way I can also use the steampunk paint on it as well when it's dry. The belts that were included in the gear kit with the chipboard, I did some embossing powder in black on both sides because you're going to be able to see this on both sides of the lantern since it's glass on the opening and in the back. Okay, now we can go ahead and paint the heart with the steampunk copper as well, both in and out. Then I decided to, after I painted the insides, to use some green embossing powder, just randomly sprinkled on all of the pieces to kind of make the pieces look tarnished. So after you've got both sides of those gears painted, both sides of your hearts painted, and it's dry, go ahead and sprinkle some of that green embossing powder on there randomly just to get that tarnished look. And then what you're going to have to do next is figure out how to put these gears all together and make your little assemblage. And I cannot say that there's a particular way it needs to be done, just whatever works for you and looks interesting. So I did layer the gears and the belts. I think I ended up with like 3 layers deep once it was all said and done. Okay, now we're doing the green embossing powder. I'm sorry, I kind of got off of the screen there a bit. There we go. The paint was still a little bit wet, so that's how I adhered the embossing powder onto the pieces. I didn't use embossing, oh gosh, the embossing ink. It's not exactly what it's called, but you get the idea. So again, you just want to do both sides of these pieces because the lantern is glass front and back, so you're going to be able to see the pieces from the front and the back as well. Alright, so now we can go ahead and start putting this together. So I took the glass out and painted the lantern as well. All of the metal, I used the steampunk on that as well. Front, back, inside, outside. I did not use gesso on it first. You could do that if you would like. It actually stuck fine without it, but that's up to you. And just be careful painting with the holes that are in the sides there so you don't get drips or glops of paint. So you're going to want to go over that inside and outside pretty well just to make sure the paint is spread evenly and there's no globs coming through the holes. Alright, looks like we've got that done. We're just going to set that aside now till it's dry. Okay, this is some of the Tim Holtz pieces that were included in the kit, the main kit. And I'm going to cut one of those to fit inside on that little shelf that's in the lantern so it looks like metal. And I'm using some Prima planner glue pen and some foils and just outlining the outside of the circle. This is the one that's going to go in the back of the lantern, and then using some 49 and Market stamps that I bought from the Swirly Doo store when we were there at camp. And that's archival ink. And you can do the stamping or not. I just thought it would add a little bit of interest. Now, what to do here, take the glass and trace that on the paper. That way, as you're putting your gears together, you can make sure that it's going to fit inside your lantern. And like I said, I don't think there's any real way this has to go. Just put the gears together how you would like them. And then I use 3D gloss gel to attach everything together. So there was a layer of gears, and then I did the belts, and then I did another layer of gears. Then I did take some of the Tim Holtz brads that were included in the main kit and put those through the centers of some of the gears, and that was just to make it look better and actually to hold the piece together. So you're going to want to let that dry before you go ahead and stick that in the lantern. And when I put it in, I used 3D gloss gel to stick it inside the back piece of glass in the lantern. So we're just going to let that dry for a bit. Then I attached the chains that were included in the kit to the top of the lantern. Got the glass in the back now, and we're going to go ahead and attach our gear assemblage into the back of the glass piece, and that's 3D gloss gel again. That's a piece of burlap, just stuck it in there, kind of soften things up a little bit and fill in some holes. And then I took the 2 hearts and added those in there for the base. Now I'm going to start building up from there. And I just put those in with 3D gloss gel. Start building up. I took some ribbon that we got in an old kit and some feather dies and cut some feathers out. So we're going to put those in the bottom. I put 3 Prima flowers in there. That was all I used of the big flowers. And they're kind of sticking behind the hearts. And we're going to put the feathers in down at the bottom. And I'm attaching a piece, a metal piece that I have to the chains using some of those jump rings that were included in the kit. And then that's just another chain, a Prima chain that I put some glue on and just draped it down inside on the bottom. And I took a little mini glass jar, put some micro beads from Prima in there, and I'm going to stick that glass jar down in the bottom on the burlap. And again, everything's being attached with the 3D gloss gel. Added some Tim Holtz film strip in there too. So that's from my stash. And then some Frank Garcia pearls just stuck into some of the spaces, just using those as filler. And putting them in there with the 3D gloss gel as well. So you can see how I've got those in there. Now I'm going to do some art stones. So I just put some 3D gloss gel in some of the holes. And big art stones first, and then fill in with the minis. Put the front piece of glass on. And it's pretty much done. We added some Timmy Chit Chat word strips in there too. I forgot to show you that, but there's the chain, and then there's the inside.